2025, and it is 10:13 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And welcome back to War Notes. And first off, I want to apologize for not getting a video out earlier today. Truth is, the global picture has been shifting fast, and I needed to gather the facts before bringing them to you. So thank you for your patience. This episode is going in straight into the heart of what you need to know right now. Let's start at home. Food insecurity in the U.S. Food insecurity in the U.S. is at 13.5% of households as of 2023. That's 18 million families struggling to put food on the table, up from 12.8% or 17 million just a year before. And that's according to Economic Research Service and two other reputable sources. Meanwhile, the richest nation faces hunger levels not seen since the decade after the Great Recession and reminiscent of the Great Depression era here in America. And that's according to the World Hunger News, the Counter, and five other reputable sources. Now, inflation and cuts to safety net programs have made basic survival harder than it's been in decades. The child tax credit expansion that lifted nearly 3 million kids out of poverty expired, immediately pushing 5 million children back into poverty overnight, according to the World Hunger News and three other reputable sources. And it's not just numbers, it's real people. I mean, food banks nationwide are they're hemorrhaging their funding right now. The USDA redirected $1 billion away from hunger relief. The campaign against hunger in New York just lost over $1.3 million in grants. What is the result of that? Reduced distributions, fewer nutritious options for children, fewer food options for children. And I'm not talking about junk food. I'm just talking about basic necessities for the children for their growth. Okay, there's a food shortage big time. Okay, and a surge in working families relying on emergency aid. Now, this according to AP News and four other reputable sources. These are working families. People are working and sleeping in their car. People are working and can't afford an apartment. People are working and can't afford to pay their mortgage. People are working and they can't even afford to pay the car that they are sleeping in. They're struggling to try to do that. And on top of that, new legislation threatens to gut the SNAP benefits. Up to $300 billion could be slashed with tighter work requirements, risking the loss of benefits for veterans, homeless individuals, and parents of young kids, the youth. That's even according to The Guardian and five other reputable sources. Here's the picture. The crisis level, hunger, is unfolding in real time here across America. This is not just in Gaza now, this is in America. So, talk about Gaza. Global war and starvation is just a humanitarian nightmare. While hunger stalks the U.S. streets, wars rage across the globe, deepening food crisis in fragile regions. In Sudan, famine now grips nearly half the population, 25 million people after violence, aid cuts, and sieges shut down emergency food kitchens. In Gaza, the war has turned into a humanitarian catastrophe. Israeli siege and bombardment of Gaza have triggered an ongoing hunger crisis and confirmed famine conditions. starving civilians amid destruction and displacement. Okay? Overall, we are seeing global conflict numbers climbing to their highest since World War II. In 2024 alone, 61 state based conflicts erupted, triggering nearly 160,000 deaths, with civilians bearing the brunt, especially in Gaza and the Democratic Republic of Congo. That's according to the Times and 8 other reputable sources. These are facts, folks. And the Ukraine war shows no sign of letting up. German Chancellor Merz, that's spelled MERZ for my radio listeners, warns it could drag on for a very long time with no clear path to peace in sight. This, according to Reuters and 9 other reputable sources. These wars aren't just geopolitical, folks. They are feeding food insecurity, famine, and displacement at unprecedented levels. Now, this isn't distant news that you're listening to. It's happening here in the United States now. Hunger is not a statistic. Children are going hungry at home, and families abroad are starving while our leaders cede resources to war instead of to welfare. We, as the people, have to demand better. Let's fight for robust SNAP funding. Let's push Congress to restore the child tax credit and fully fund food banks. And globally, we must demand a shutdown of starving by siege tactics and deliver real humanitarian aid to embattled populations in Sudan, Gaza, Ukraine, and beyond. So I thank you all for tuning in. If you all haven't subscribed yet, I invite you all to subscribe. Maybe you might not be interested as much in this episode, maybe in the next episode, maybe you might be interested next week. Who knows? But subscribe. I invite you to subscribe and also like the video if you enjoyed the video, and please share it with your friends and family so they can also gain the same insight too as well. I am your host, Paviel G, and this is War Notes. And as long as injustice reigns, I will be, God willing, raising my voice. So see you the next time on the next radio broadcast. Thank you all for listening. Have a very beautiful and blessed night.